Alright, hey everybody. So I want to do a monthly review of a book that has less than 25 or less Goodreads ratings. If you don't know, Goodreads is just like a popular site where you can rate and keep track of what books you've read and read reviews of books and that sort of thing. So if you are not aware, 25 is not a lot. I thought about what kind of numbers I wanted to pick. I was initially like, okay, I'll do 100. But then I was like, no, it's too easy. And then I went down to 50, and then I went down to 30, and then I thought, no, I want to make it 25. So my idea behind this is a lot of the things that I read anyways don't have much in the way of ratings on Goodreads just because they're not very popular books. And so I looked through my collection and I have a lot of books that qualify for this. But also I just like the idea of spotlighting and talking about books that really no one else on the internet is. Like the book that I am going to review today has 6 ratings, including mine, on Goodreads. And if you search the book, there's no other reviews for it or anybody really talking about it in any form that I can find. And so I really like the idea of just spotlighting and talking about books that have kind of been forgotten and no one else is interested in. And I think that's more interesting than me talking about a Brandon Sanderson book or something that you can literally find hundreds and hundreds of reviews and people voicing their opinion on that book. Anyways, I'm going to try to do one a month. We'll see how it goes. But for the first one, the book that I read is The Gladiator by Bill Earls. So, this book just got this cool blue text block. It is published by Dell. It was published in 1981, and this is actually a first print. Oh, I don't think they did a second printing, would be my guess. So I picked this one up cheap at a used bookstore. I saw the cover and thought, well, that looks pretty cool. And the back, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it says, "The time, 1985. The place, the Super Bowl. The Gladiator" by Bill Earls. So this book is about this character, Johnny Ballin, who, John Ballin, isn't that the name of Mr. Ballin, the YouTube channel? Someone should let him know that this book has his name. So it's about this football player, Johnny Ballin. I think he plays for, it doesn't matter, but I think he plays for the Minnesota Vikings. And basically, obviously 1985, at the time that this was written, was the future, but it is not anymore. And obviously this future didn't happen, so I'm going to kind of view this as like a alternate history, alternate past. And in this alternate history of America, he's an American football player, not, soccer, football. And in this 1985 America, the crowd, the people, what they want to see is the violence. They want to see these really big tackles. They want to see tackles where people are getting hurt. They want to see, those are the stars of the team. It's not necessarily those that are playing football well. It's those that are big and mean and hurting people. And so this kind of continues to escalate to the point where, I can't remember the exact events, but during a halftime show, these two players basically just fight because they're mad at each other. It's not like a planned event. There's an altercation and they just duke it out. and people love it. It's like the most popular thing ever. And so American football kind of goes to the wayside. People don't care anymore. And they start this new sport, just like these gladiator games. And a lot of these ex-football players, including Johnny Ballin, decide to become gladiators. And they'll wear their helmet and their football gear, but they each pick like a weapon. Like Johnny Ballin uses a fighting iron, and this one guy uses like a trident. And basically they just go in there and they battle until one person is, hurt badly enough that the ref steps in and ends the fight and declares a winner. So when I read that premise, I'm going to try not to do spoilers, not too many spoilers. When I read that premise, I thought this was going to be just some sort of exploitative, batshit, like wild, like mostly what I'd be reading is these fights. And that wasn't really the case, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. This was a better book than, well, I could have gone with more exploitative fighting, but a better book in terms of just the writing, the amount of thought that was put into it. I mean, it's definitely a commentary on violence in America and why people like that, and how, we could very easily just devolve back into Roman gladiator times. And this main character kind of is dating this woman, and they're both wrestling with the moral, ethical quandaries of what he does for a living. Also just like, is it worth risking your health in this way? Like, you could die. And then obviously, just like it did with football in the book, the people kind of want to see more blood, and it turns into a point where they're like, okay, well now we just, we want these people to fight to the death. And it's a short book. I like the writing style. I thought it was very fast-paced and lean. I also thought that there was more substance to this book than I expected. I thought it was going to be more pulpy. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I'm happy to be the first person to talk about it on the internet. So if this appeals to you, this is The Gladiator by Bill Earls. And there's just one funny thing I wanted to mention. If you go to the Goodreads page, like I said, 6 ratings, one of those is mine, and 1 review. And if you scroll down to the review, it's by someone named Matt Earls, who gives it 5 stars. And I'm like, hold on, Matt Earls, Bill Earls. And the review just says, my dad wrote it. My rating might be a bit biased, I admit. I love it. That's all anyone says about it on the internet. And this book is better than that. I've read worse books than this. So, yeah. Gladiator, Bill Earls. Find yourself a copy. And